Good morning, everybody. Dr. Zuba here, bringing you how I prepare to get vaccines, particularly the coronavirus vaccine. Now, I've already had the first COVID vaccine, and I'm not going to show the card. I don't have it with me right now, but tomorrow I'm scheduled to get my second COVID vaccine. So, with chronic illness, I have particularly 3 chronic illnesses. I'll just briefly name them, go over them. I have Ehlers Danlos syndrome, hypermobile type. I have mast cell activation syndrome, and I have POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. English today is something else. Anyways, with those chronic illnesses, you have to be a little more careful or just a little more concerned with what you put in your body. So, as a result, I've done my research. I am a registered nurse, and I've done my research on the COVID vaccine, and I found that the ingredients that most people are reacting to, I'm not allergic to, because one of them happens to be in the lidocaine patches, which we'll go over in just a minute, and I've used those for years and never had a problem. So, tomorrow I'm scheduled to get my second COVID vaccine, and I'm going to bring you along on this journey, and let's see how it goes. But today I want to go over how I prepare to get a vaccination. First of all, before I even schedule the appointment, I develop a plan on what I'm going to do the week before. The week before the vaccination, I definitely try to make sure that I'm really strict about my diet and avoiding my triggers. I know I'm allergic to dairy and I'm allergic to gluten. Now, I'm not allergic in the sense where I get an anaphylactic reaction. What happens to me is more GI symptoms. I get just stomach cramps and stuff like that. But it also causes inflammation in my body and causes the inflammatory markers to rise. And when you're getting a vaccine, you want to have your immune system as stable as possible. So you don't want to be triggering your body with things. You don't want to be cheating, like sometimes I will have a piece of cheese or something like that, or drink some milk. And you don't want to be cheating the week before your vaccine. You want to be getting everything as stable as possible. So by doing that, the immune system is as level can be, and it's on a good playing field ready to react to the coronavirus vaccine and to help you build antibodies. So that being said, watch my diet and stuff for a week and make sure I'm not around any triggers or anything that could possibly flare up my mast cell. Second thing I do in preparing for a vaccine, particularly this new vaccine, is I put stuff that I may need if I'm hospitalized in my purse. Now, people are going to wonder, well, how do you fit everything in? Well, I don't bring absolutely everything I would need, but I bring the most important stuff because right now hospitals are limiting visitors and stuff. So I also don't want to have a whole big bag of stuff where that could get contaminated and then I bring it back into my home and I not only contaminate myself with COVID, but I contaminate the rest of my family and other people in the home who do have chronic illness like me. So the basic things I bring are Epipens. I just got prescribed these for the COVID vaccine, just in case. Now, with my first vaccine, I didn't need them, didn't use them at all. As you can see, they're still here, obviously. Hello. But important to have them with you. The cost of these is astronomical. So if I were to need an EpiPen to help save money, I would use mine that I've already paid $160 for at my local pharmacy rather than a medical one that the hospital or clinic has, because that's going to be significantly more expensive. So bring them with me, and I can respond to my own body and my own reactions a lot faster than they can. So that's the importance of the Epi, hence why I have the EpiPen. Second thing, if I were to get hospitalized, I bring a small stack of N95 masks that I've been fitted for. Reason being is, with chronic illness and with mast cell, they say that it doesn't make us any more susceptible to getting it, but what it could potentially do is ramp our immune systems up to the point that we end up having inflammatory problems, and that can affect multiple organs and stuff like that. So I always bring my N95 masks with me wherever I'm going out in public, but particularly for the vaccine, and I have extras if I were to have a reaction and get hospitalized. Very important. Another thing I bring, a week worth of medications and supplements. Now, you're going to wonder why. If you're in a hospital, don't they give you medication? Correct, they do. They only give you medications, though, that are prescribed by a doctor and that they have in stock. So, for example, I take quercetin or quercetin. People say it different ways, but quercetin is how I say it. And I take that to help with my mast cell, to help stabilize my mast cells. Now, that being said, a hospital is not going to have that because it's a supplement. They don't give you supplements in the hospital. So, therefore, bringing your own medications and supplements with you, you can talk to the doctor. As long as they know what's in here, they can let you self-medicate. So, I would still be able to take all of my medications, many of which are supplements, and do really have a benefit. So, therefore, by having my medications, I'm able to continue my regimen and stay healthy. Another thing I bring with me is lidocaine patches. Sometimes, if you're hospitalized or laying in a bed for a long time, you get pain. What I also do with these is I put them on the injection site after I get the vaccine, which helps with pain. So I'm able to still use my arms and stuff. My second vaccine, I am going to be getting in the leg. Just because with the first vaccine, I did end up getting a large red ring, and it got warm and itchy. And I know that was my mast cell. I was having a mast cell reaction to the vaccine. So what I'm going to do the second time is try to trick my body by getting in a different area. And hopefully it'll take the body a little time to figure out what it is. Basically what I'm trying to do is to avoid having to use these. So that is the next thing. All right. And another thing I like to bring along with me is my nasal spray, which they will not have in the hospital. This is a mast cell stabilizing nasal spray called Cromolyn. And it goes, of course, you know how nasal sprays go. Don't need to tell you that. But anyways, it definitely helps with stabilizing nasal allergies. If I'm in contact with mold or anything out in the environment that I'm allergic to, it helps so my nose doesn't itch and I'm not sneezing constantly. Another important thing to bring to the hospital is a long phone charger and a plug-in. I also bring a short one, but the long one is the best. I have a 10-foot one because, to be honest, nurses are running around doing a million things. CNAs are running around doing a million things. They're not going to have time to help you if you can't get out of bed to charge your own phone or whatnot. They're not going to have the time to help you with that. So, be prepared so I'm as independent as possible if I were to be hospitalized. Another thing I bring along, learned from experience when I had my gallbladder out and did not have one, hairbrush and extra hair ties. This Puerto Rican hair that I have, oh my lord, if I don't have a hairbrush and hair ties, it's the end of the world. You cannot get a comb through this hair anytime. Only when it's really wet and really lubed down with like conditioner can you get a brush through it, or a comb through it. So brush and hair ties is essential. Another thing that I bring with is my spray conditioner, because if I'm using the hospital shampoo and stuff, the only way I'll be able to get a brush through it is to use my spray conditioner. So to limit the amount of stuff that I bring with me, spray conditioner. And then lastly, just a good idea in regards to the phone, if you have one, is a battery pack. And the battery pack, what it can do is it can charge overnight, and then you can bring it up with you into the bed or wherever you are during the day, and you don't have to sit near an outlet if you don't have an extremely long cord. So that's another chronic illness hack that I have for preparing for a vaccine. So after packing my hospital bag, then the night before I just try to relax, because with this new vaccine, a lot of people, myself included, get a lot of anxiety. Like, how is this going to affect me? Is there going to be any long-term effects? Stuff like that. And one thing I've learned is something a doctor once told me. With regards to this vaccine, you can either get it and potentially live 20 years symptom-free and then maybe have problems later, or they can take you out in 20 days in a body bag. I mean, simple kind of choice there. I've weighed the benefits versus the risks, and I'm all for getting it, and I hope everybody considers getting it. That being said, that is how I pack and prepare for any hospital stays or any new vaccines or anything. So thank you for joining me for this video, and I hope you join me as I continue my journey by getting the second COVID vaccine tomorrow. So everybody have a good day, and thanks for joining me.